The next project that I'm doing on the 76 Elite is to find out my small vacuum leak that is in the front headlights. Now this headlight I've already disconnected. There's a light that's just sticking up. I already worked on that one. It's easier to film this after I've done one, and then I can describe things easier. So you will see the mounts. There's one on either side. Pay attention when you're before you unwind them because they are threaded on both sides. So you want to know that if it should be a little more one way than the other or center when you put it back in. That way, when you wind it, you don't have to unwind and go back and forth. But the issue here is simply that when the lights are up, I am losing vacuum and the engine is running poorly. When the lights stay down for days, man, they stay down for almost a week. I've done a very good job before when I took care of the vacuum piping. But if you take the light out, release the pod, then you can get your hands down inside. Let's see if I can get a little light on this. You can get yourself down inside to get to the valve, which is back under here. And if you want to get the valve out, up inside the wheel well, the screws are up in there and you can get it out. And so I will continue when I get it out on bench. This is the valve for the front pod lights taken out, and it's held in with those two screws, which I said they're 832s, and they go into the wheel well. If you're having issues with it, you can take it apart, clean it. You can change the O-rings inside, and that's what I'm going to do now is go and check it out in there. You can take off the nipples. Make sure that you do not reverse them. I'm aware that this nipple has a spring inside and a recess for the spring to sit, a seat. I'm not sure if this one has it or not, but don't get them confused. It's easier. And I'll take them apart and show you. Okay, the bottom. Be careful. There is a spring in there. There's the spring. This will be a little hard doing this one-handed, but sorry. Okay, down inside, let's see if there's a way I can turn the light on, see if that helps. Okay, see the plastic ring in there? You can unscrew that ring with a straight screwdriver. Be careful, put some penetrating oil in there and make sure you don't break the nylon. And then there is a valve under there. There's no ring. So that's how you clean it and change the seal. It's in there. Okay, there is the seat, I guess, to hold the O-ring in. You should be able to see the O-ring in there and the valve. So if you need to change the O-ring, this little piece is what holds it in. On the other end of the valve is a keeper bar that keeps the plunger from coming out. So if you take one screw out and move the bar over, this is the plunger with the needle, and there gets corrosion. You might see the corrosion around here, and that helps it to stick in that bore. It gets a little garbage in there too, but that is some of what. If you clean this up, clean the needle up that activates the valves, the balls down there, then you would say the plunger. It will improve the efficiency of your valve. To get to the other seat, you have to remove the coil, and you need a thin 5/8 or a thin 16 millimeters for these things, but I have a thin 16 that I get down in there, and then this, sorry for the motion, this unscrews, and I haven't needed to take this off because there's really nothing under there. Might need to be flushed if you want to, but there's where the needle goes through. And I'm going to have to, pardon me to do this a little bit. Try to do this one-handed. Hold on. All right, there's the other side with the same nylon keeper. The O-rings below that. And make sure you don't get the side screwed up if you take it all apart. Make sure that you at least know which side the coil goes back on. That I don't know if it'll matter, but it doesn't. I wouldn't take chances that it might work incorrectly if you flip it around. So that's how you get this apart. Same thing, you wind that out, you get to the O-ring underneath, and you can clean everything, change O-ring if you need to, and put it back together, clean up the plunger, and test it. Valve is reassembled. I've got 12 volts to it. Works nicely. I did put some low pressure air, testing each port to make sure it seals. Don't use high pressure. Remember, this is vacuum, so only like 2 pounds, maybe 1 pound. You just want to use something small. Run your regulator way down just to do some testing in this. And I've got one other thing I'm going to do, which has to do with these vents right here. I'll show you in the next segment. This item is strictly my idea. I didn't read about it anywhere, but having owned Elites since, well, it's been 3 decades. I've had Elites. But I've been thinking about this for a long time, trying to figure out a way, and it hit me today that I could do it this way. This is a filter. The vent for sucking the vacuum back in when you release the vacuum to let the light pods come up, that is going to pull in all the dirt and debris into your mechanism. And I always wondered why they never put any kind of a filter to stop that, which would cause issues. So I kept thinking, how do I make one? And today I kind of, it hit me. I took a paint filter. So I took the filter section out. I folded over a couple of times, tucked it in, put a tie on to hold it in place. And will it keep everything out? No, but it's going to keep the majority of things out and the big items, and hopefully it will improve the length of having to clean, the length of time it takes to having this take it off and clean it. So that's my idea. It could be good, could be bad, don't know, but I'm trying something. And it's better to try something than to leave those holes open and just to suck in dirt. So that's, I'm going to put this back on I'm going to put it back on the car now, get everything up and working from there. So no work on the front vacuum solenoids for the headlamps would be complete without going to the reservoirs in the footwells. So the left footwell is where the connection for the HVAC controls, your interior heater controls are, your vents and all. And everything there looks good. All the connections are good. I'd already fixed that once before. So that side is good. Now we can go the other side. The right side reservoir is a different story. I touched the T and it came apart. So yeah, there are those things that happen. So I have to take this connection here, this T, update that, and the plastic T underneath, I should change that out also. But that is all part of visiting the vacuum system, just to check on these areas, make sure they're fine. And of course, anybody who ever wanted to take off the lower sills needs to get in these areas to get to the anchors. So that's where I'm at now. And the right side here is also a major electrical junction point. So if you're having any issues, this is one of the places also to go look. But a lot of stuff comes up through here. The T that was broken has been repaired. The 90-degree connection at the bottom. See if we can get a good shot of it. I apologize if it's not coming in well. see if this, yeah, coming off the bottom down here, this has been changed out. Those are the remnants of the T and the angle connection. So yes, they're updated. And we will give the car a start and go from there. The final test of the vacuum system for the Elite is the smoke generator test. It's a simple system. It works. They were available out there. Many different places. I didn't pay a lot of money for it, but I will tell you it works really well. So I put a small amount of pressure. It has a regulator on it for I think about 1 or 2 pounds, and it puts smoke in the system. So I have checked both systems, the light pod system and the HVAC system, and I have not found any leaks. So that is my final check to ensure hopefully everything stays working. And we'll say how long will it stay working is always the question, but we hope it'll work for a while. But it's simply just hook it up to the lines where you would normally hook up manifold vacuum. It puts some smoke in, and because it's pressurizing in like the way a vacuum would draw, goes right past the one-way valves and gets the whole system charged with smoke to see if anything will leak. Alright, lights are back together and working. And the I no longer have a change in RPM when the lights are up, which is why I started this whole thing, because I had a leak. So, yep. So, fixed for the moment. That's always on the Lotuses. For the moment, it's fixed. And a tip to not put the beauty rings on until after you've tested everything out, because you may have to take it apart and check it out again. So I only do these videos because I don't see anybody else that has done this, and the information should be out there if anyone's interested. If these things were already done by someone else, then I'm redundant and I apologize. But because I haven't seen any of this stuff out on the net, I'm doing it to hopefully help others.